Okay, start of a new fun build. I am finally building a new PC specifically for my video editing. So we're going a little more high-end this time. I've got a bunch of parts in here. Nice test bench to build it on. Alright, I'm sorry, before we jump into that, I'm going to give you a little story on how this happened. I have this friend Jamie that I've known for years through dancing. And she has this boyfriend that she was like, oh my gosh, you gotta meet him because he's so into computer stuff like you. And so we talked a couple times on the phone about computer builds and stuff. Turns out he's into liquid nitrogen cooling and overclocking like crazy.
I overclock. That's all I do. It's like a race car driver. You know, I'm about as dumb as Lewis Hamilton, but I know something, you know, how to make it work. And I like to make it go fast.
So anyway, we have some common interest just in computer stuff and technical things. And he gave me a call about a week later and said, hey, I have these parts that you really might be interested in getting. I have a good connection. We'll check this out. It's a little sketchy situation, but long story short, we decided let's just give it a shot. We met up for the first time ever, other than on the phone, by leaving on a 16-hour drive together, round trip, headed to Atlanta to go see if these parts were legit.
So we got a 3090 Kingpin, a Z690 Apex from Asus, and a 12900K that was binned out by another overclocker named Sens. So, and this was the top 12900K that he binned out. So if you ever come across the Sens list of binned chips that he sold, it's number 9 on the list, but it's the fastest on the list.
So we haven't tried it all together yet. We're doing full assembly now, but you have now individually tested each piece.
Yes.
And we know that each piece is in running shape right now.
And I've got multiple kits in memory, so we found what's going to work
like the best in
most reliably. If he ever has to reset the BIOS for any reason, he doesn't have to go change a bunch of settings to get it to work. He just go XMP on, and this RAM is working fine in this board.
So what are we doing first? We're going to throw in our...
Yeah, we'll put in your SSD here.
Ooh, 3090 Kingpin.
So we're only going to cool the control chip.
I love these new connectors on these new boards. I don't know if you guys have seen these, but you actually connect them not with a screw. There's a little, I don't know what you call it, a little lever.
Little latch.
Yeah.
Oh, real easy. The actual flash chips on these, they need some temperature. I don't even worry about cooling them. It's like, they put out about as much heat as the memory chips on a stick of RAM. It's like nothing. The controller uses the most, and when that overheats, that's where your throttling comes from. But high temperature, not high temperature, but a seemingly scary temperature like 60, 70 Celsius is actually okay for flash memory and is actually ideal for writing. And what I find a lot of the times is when I'm benchmarking like liquid nitrogen or dry ice or something, as soon as these M.2 drives get cold, they just don't work anymore.
So you've already placed this, you've already done thermal paste, pads because you did that in testing.
And these feel really loose, but it's just because this platform, the LGA 1700 socket, some bending issues.
Dope.
Yeah, it's no problem. Let's go to here. I mean, there'll always be somebody that goes, "Hey, you're doing it wrong." No.
No, I'm doing it my way.
Yeah. Like -10? Like -10 Celsius? Then we have this doesn't work. So when you're making a GPU like -200 almost,
You'll see more about this -200
yeah,
later.
we'll visit
Radiator.
that in another video.
Which we only had 2 of the fans for. So we have 2 fans mounted now, but odds are we're gonna mount 2 more later. This looks like a radiator out of my car. It's pretty much what this looks like. This is like a turboed turbo
Too small
4-cylinder
to
at least.
include. Oh yeah, for like my Civic or Civic.
Yeah.
Ford Fiesta, yeah.
Yeah.
That would be fine.
It's a little turboed 4.
Turbo.
Okay, we've got most of the plumbing run, and it's time for the first fill.
This power supply here. This little thing is literally just for priming water loops. Oh, the power for the pump only, so that we can get the water primed.
But you plugged it into a little board with a...
Well, it's like
power
an old school fan controller, and it's just, you know, low and high. It just controls 12 volts. That way, like, once we've got water through it, and it's still carrying bubbles, when we slow it down, it gives the bubbles time to surface inside the reservoir.
Nice.
Also, sometimes a slower pump speed might help the water get up high, and then, you know, once it's equalized, you know, water going up equals the amount of water coming down, then it can just run full bore. And sometimes pumps will work better at full speed, but we don't know yet. So I've got this little contraption off of a standalone power supply here. I'm gonna hook up. Go.
Oh. That's not so good.
Now we did a Linus. There we go.
Oh.
It's just water though. So
We
it's very
forgot
easy get off
to
there.
put in the
Yeah,
plugs.
now I get to show you my fix for that.
There it goes. Yes, we are hair drying my new PC.
What you gotta do.
Okay, we went back and double checked, kind of went through everything. Everything should be seated. We have everything but some of the RGB on. Power's on, so we're ready for, well, this will be first boot up since we took it all apart, right?
Yeah,
Want me to do it?
you have the honors. If it blows up, it's your fault. It's so quiet. It's hard to tell sometimes. Are those going?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
And, oh, here we go. We're posting up Republic of Gamers. CPU fan speed detection error.
Plug it in so we do need to restart.
It was a great time with Steven. We talked a lot about vlogging and computers mostly. So now it's actually 3 or 4 days later. We've got some of the parts together. I've got the thing back here, and I finally just getting it set up here for my entire editing setup. I have been editing in Premiere for 21 years, as I found out now, as a video editor. And because of just cost things with Premiere and things that I think were getting a little bit stale, I decided that I would take the jump, bite the bullet, and try something new. So I'm going over to DaVinci Resolve, which is owned by Blackmagic, which makes amazing cameras that we do like very much. And I decided to go ahead and go in and try the speed editor. And of course I decided to do that about a week and a half before I have another big gig that's going to be a multicam edit. So I have got to get to work on figuring this thing out. Part of figuring this thing out will be the vlog that I'm making right now that you are watching as we speak. So anyway, new setup, starting to run real good. It's not completely finished yet. As you can see, I still have the pump sitting on top of a cardboard box from Amazon. But other than that, things are going pretty good. And this was my first meetup with Steven, and it looks like we're going to be doing a whole lot more work together. Steven does some really cool work, and I'm going to bring some of that to the channel so you guys can see some of that. And I think he's going to start his own channel, so we're looking at working together to get some vlogs going there. So keep an eye out for Steven and I, Steven, the new crazy overclocker, and we'll try some fun stuff. Thanks.